this the Tristan Law Show? If it's your first time here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Tristan Law, some-retired pro wrestler today. I'm your host. In case you didn't know, WWE Evolution is back, and everybody wants to celebrate. But here's the truth. If WWE really believed in women's wrestling, we wouldn't need an all-women's wrestling event in 2025. We'd already have equality every single week. So the question isn't why WWE is bringing Evolution back. The question that we're going to talk about today is why did it ever disappear in the first place? This should feel like a huge win for women's pro wrestling. But is it progress or is it just a performance? Is it just something to do? The tone that I want to set today is I'm going to be honest, I'm going to challenge the whole thing, and I'm definitely going to be respectful as well too. Today we're going to be looking at how WWE follows the culture. The culture. You can tell I'm just so New York, right? How WWE follows the culture, women's booking, how it's still flawed in pro wrestling, and Evolution's name, how it just exposes the problem. That is what we're talking about today. But WWE, they don't lead the culture. They react to the culture. And this is going way back to to WrestleMania 1. And we're going to look at that. But let's look at the history of Evolution. In 2018, Evolution was a PR response to Crown Jewel. You remember when WWE first started going to Saudi Arabia, the ladies couldn't go? So because the ladies couldn't go, what was the second best thing? Oh, why don't we just give them their own event? Oh, great. Great freaking idea. Great idea. Give the ladies their own event, right? It was a great event, but we haven't had one in 7 years. In 7 years. They had it in 2018. They should have did it in 2019, but they didn't. They should have did it in 2020. They could have done it in 2020 because everybody was just looking for extra things to watch, right? Because during the pandemic. But the WWE didn't do it. It's been 7 years. Well, almost. Because the first Evolution appeared in October 2018. And this Evolution is appearing in July 2025. So it's almost 7 years. 6 years and change. Close to 7. But this return of Evolution 2025, it feels strategic. It's not revolutionary like the first one. Let me explain to you why. WWE has a lot of competition that weekend. AEW is running All In, one of their flagship shows the day before on Saturday. But WWE is also running Saturday night's main event head-to-head with that as well too. They're running in the same exact building as Evolution. So the question that you ask yourself is like, damn, well, do you watch AEW or do you watch WWE? If you're a real diehard WWE fan, you'll probably save the $50 and watch Saturday's night main event because it's going to cost you almost nothing to watch. But in Atlanta alone, talking about women being on top with Evolution, Beyonce. Okay, you probably don't understand. What does Beyonce got to do with this? Beyonce is playing in the same exact town, in the same exact city, just a couple miles down the road from where Evolution and Saturday night's main event is going to take place. There is a lot of competition in the world, in the realm, in the field of entertainment this weekend. But when you look at the current cultural context of everything that's happening with women right now, there's a rise in women's sports visibility. It's gone beyond watching women play soccer, watching women play tennis and volleyball. Right? We're doing big things for the women now, and I love it. Let me get them ladies out there hand clap. Wow, my voice still sounds sick. Golly, don't get yourself a 2-year-old because you will get sick all the time. Brands are investing in women. Nike, they're getting ESPN coverage, everything. Right? Right now, it's like the rise for the women in sports. You got WNBA even getting more popular. You got people like Caitlin Clark. You know who Caitlin Clark is? I don't know. But I went to go see one of her games last year at the Barclays Center. I thought that I can just buy the cheap tickets to go see the Liberty and then just walk down to go sit closer because nobody would be sitting there. I was wrong. I was wrong. It was packed. You would think that the Knicks were playing. The WNBA said that they saw a 170% rise in viewership for their 2024 season. Looking at other sports where women have an effect on it, the NFL. Taylor Swift on the NFL. Look, I can be honest with you. I don't watch football. But I knew every time that Taylor Swift showed up, Taylor Swift, she boosted brand value, viewership, and merch sales among females and young viewers. If you're asking me, I think that Taylor Swift should change her nickname from T Swift to T $. Alright, I know that was corny. My bad. Looking at women in sports, fight sports continue to draw women. They continue to push women as top draws. Also this weekend, when I'm telling you that there's so much competition when it comes into the realm of what to watch, where to put your attention, not only is Beyonce playing, not only is AEW doing their event, not only is WWE doing Evolution and Saturday Night's Main Event, on Netflix, there's a fight between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. It's their third fight, and it emanates from Madison Square Garden, and it's live on Netflix. What are you supposed to watch? UFC? Underneath the same umbrella as WWE? They haven't created a top women's fighter since maybe Ronda Rousey. And I personally much rather watch women fight. Look, like watching men. I've watched many men fight growing up. I watched many males fight growing up. What I want to see is I want to see the women fight. I'm not going to lie. As the kids say, I'm not going to camp. But back to pro wrestling, women are in. Women are in right now in the world. They're in demand, and in demand means more money. Anyone who loves their mama should be excited about the current rise that women are having in the world. In WWE, they want to get back on the wave. They want to ride the wave. They don't want to create it. They want to ride it. WWE creates waves in pro wrestling, but when it comes to everything else inside the world, WWE just wants to ride the wave. They just want to be along for the ride. WWE has followed pop culture, and if you ever wanted to know, if you were in another country and you want to know what America feels like, watch pro wrestling. Watch pro wrestling if you want to know what WWE, if you want to know what America feels like. Watch WWE primarily. When you go back to WrestleMania 7, during the Gulf War, you had Hulk Hogan doing Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter was the Iraqi sympathizer. Hulk Hogan was the hurts inside, swinging the American flag. Yay, we doing it for America. The Attitude Era. It was hot when TV in America started pushing the envelope. When everybody was worried in 1999 about Y2K crippling computers and crippling the world as we know it, Y2J Chris Jericho made his debut in the WWE. WWE follows wherever the wind blows in culture. But I got a hot take for you. You want to hear that hot take? Let me give you this hot take. This is WWE playing catch-up. They were leading in women's wrestling during the women's revolution. They were leading in wrestling. You had people like Charlotte Flair. You had Bayley. You had Mercedes Moné, FKA, formerly known as Sasha Banks. You had Becky Lynch. They were leading the women's revolution in wrestling. They were the people that you would watch and you would get so excited, like, all right, let's go and see what's happening. I remember when I first went to my first WWE event, it was 2007, and it was Extreme Rules in Jacksonville, Florida. When the women came out, we all got up and went to the bathroom. When the women came out, we all went to go get something to eat. But in this climate right now, if a Becky Lynch comes out, an Asuka comes out, if a Mercedes Moné comes out, a Bayley comes out, anybody that's a woman's comes out, you need to stay right where you are. Rhea Ripley comes out. Stay where you are because you might miss something. TNA used to be the leader in women's wrestling in the early 2000s, right? The mid 2000s. And then when WWE finally decided to capture women's wrestling, they were doing a hell of a job. But now, who's the leader right now in women's wrestling? I feel that women are not getting their fair shake in pro wrestling today. Reality of Wrestling, Booker T's pro wrestling organization and school in Texas. When you are done with this, go ahead and watch Heart and Soul. It's a free event. It's an all women's event by Reality of Wrestling, and the main event is oh my God, I just had the name on top of my head. But the main event had Natty Neidhart, aka Natalia, aka the daughter of Jim the Anvil Neidhart. When I saw that match, I had to give them girls a hand clap. Because listen to this. I was on the phone last night, and then when I got off my little phone conversation, right, I was watching that, because somebody wanted to go to bed early. So fine. So I'm sitting here and I'm watching my little, YouTube, and I'm watching the two women fight. I'm watching Natalia, Natty Neidhart from the WWE, still in the WWE, put on one hell of a match. That is a woman that's been in the WWE since Jesus was a child. That woman has had more accolades in the WWE than Solomon had wives, but she's not getting her fair shake in today's climate. But even with this return of Evolution, why does women's division still feel like an afterthought? I'll tell you this. We got the pro wrestling, the promo hotline, 973-826-0101. Complain about anything or praise anything in pro wrestling. I want you to be a part of the show. Good morning, Universal. Thank you so much for joining me today. 973-826-0101. I want you. If you have something that you want to complain about in the realm of pro wrestling, this is where you are going to do it. And if your take is fire, now I've been sick for weeks. If your take is fire, what we're going to do is we're going to put your take up. 973-826-0101. You can call it. Make sure you tell me who you are and where you call from. We're going to put you on the show later on in another episode. I listen to all the hot takes. You know why I don't put any hot takes up there? Because there's no hot takes that are fire. No hot takes that are fire. Anyway, now that we've got that out of the way, let's go back to what we're talking about now. We're talking about WWE Evolution. We're talking about the women's division now is being treated like a feature. The Evolution gives women exposure, but it doesn't give them any equity. When we're looking at day-to-day booking, we got rush storytelling with title matches with really no build. Really no build. Thank you, Universal. Once when I'm done with this, I'm going to go handle all that. Feuds reset with no payoffs. Women's tag titles, they're just like props. They're not prizes, right? You tell me when's the last time you saw a women's tag team title match that you went, let me see how that match is going to go. You don't get that opportunity anymore. But right now with Evolution, WWE is doing a women's match with one person from NXT, one team from NXT, one team from Raw, one team from SmackDown, and what are we going to get? And the women's tag team champions. And what are we going to get? I don't know what we're going to get. Maybe we'll get something that maybe makes them finally start taking the tag team championships a little bit seriously. I don't know. Where is the women's division version of the bloodline? I'm not talking about having people come out there and throw out one fingers. What I am saying is, where is that long-term storytelling when it comes with the women? Where is the storylines that it goes and it weaves into something and then it's like, oh wow, remember when we saw that? What are they doing with people like Alexa Bliss? What about Alexa Bliss? Isn't she supposed to be tied into The Wyatt Six, she still comes out dressed up as the Bray Wyatt character. What is she? Just a sympathizer? What do they do with her? Where's the long-term storytelling? When you look at people like Rhea Ripley, right? She's got that star power. But when she was the champion, she was underutilized. Where is the weekly focus on the woman? Where? Let's see what Universal has to say. Oh, you got a little crown thing. Where'd you get the little crown thing next to your name? Oh, it says you're a top fan. Oh, you know what? Shout out to you. Shout out to Universal. Universal says that Evolution 2 has been built, marketed, and promoted very badly. Jean Paul has been doing a very bad job this year thus far. You know what? That Jean Paul guy. I remember seeing Jean Paul in WCW. And what the hell did Jean Paul ever make of himself? I don't know. I don't know whatever happened to Jean Paul after he left WCW. Has anybody ever seen Jean Paul Levesque? Maybe they say that Jean Paul Levesque is that guy running the WWE right now, but I don't know. I don't know. But if that's the case, yes, he's doing a bad job. You got people, thank you so much for your comments. You got people like Becky. You got people like Charlotte. You got Asuka. You got Bayley. You got Bianca Belair. They carried the division at one point. But the load, I don't think the load is being evenly distributed now. I feel like, let me tell you this. I got another episode coming up. Maybe next week, most likely next week. We're going to be talking about John Cena and what he's doing and how he's doing and how I see his way out. Because I've only been given little snippets of the things that have been going on with John Cena. But I want to go ahead and give it the full attention that it deserves. And when I am talking, wow, I lost my train of thought. Wow. Okay, hold on. Let me bring this back. Let's got a little bit of news. We got this. So the thing that I was talking about is that the thing about John Cena is that when John Cena was on top, there's only one person on top. When Hogan was on top, there's only one person on top. So what the WWE is doing right now is that they're taking multiple people. People are complaining, oh, well, Seth Rollins is in the top. They're talking about CM Punk is in the top. Jey Uso's in the top. They have so many people that if somebody gets injured, they're not panicking. They're not scrambling. They could pull somebody out and they could stick somebody in. And I think that's what they're trying to do with the women's division right now. But it just feels kind of flat sometimes. So, like, my next hot take is that, yeah, the women are getting visibility with Evolution 2. But the visibility, it does not equal the value. Let's go to the comments. Universal says, at this current time, could argue that the interest, women's wrestling, and women's sports in the real world are at all-time highs. But this all-time high interest should be taken seriously, and it's not. Yeah, I agree. His real name is Jean Paul. JP is his nickname. Paul is his business name. I know. Okay, you might not know me, Universal, but let me tell you, I am the biggest Triple H fan of all time. If you like, I can't wait until my son could sit down with me and I go, let me show you about the greatest wrestler of all time. Like some people say that Ric Flair was the greatest wrestler of all time, but of my generation, I think that Mr. JP himself, Mr. Triple H, spit the water, I think he was a great wrestler. I think it was awesome the way he told stories in the ring. When I used to wrestle, I used to pattern myself after Triple H, Randy Orton, and Edge. Those are the three people that I patterned myself after. I would see Triple H doesn't need to jump off the top rope. I didn't jump off the top rope. I took my time and I moved. I stalked my prey like Randy Orton, and I had the facial expressions like Edge. Look me up, Tristan Law. And then that's who I am. But either way. On Sunday morning, we are doing a Saturday night's main event recap. I'm having friend of the show, Cheyenne Ortiz. He'll be joining me to break that down, to talk about, to react to it. And then for Evolution, I'm going to have Felicia of the Storyline Podcast. She'll be joining me on Monday. Make sure that you are following. Make sure that you are subscribed. Make sure you're watching the show live, because if you're watching the show live, you get to interact live. We're also growing as well too when it comes to the subscribers. We have 466 subscribers. Shout out to y'all. We're going to get to 500. You see how JP has that little crown over his head? You might not see it if you're not watching live right now. But there's going to be so much cool things. I'm going to set up memberships. We're going to do special episodes. There's so many special things that we are going to do to build a community here around like-minded people that just like pro wrestling. That's it. That's it. And if the real problem, though, is how WWE... What's the real problem, though? Is how WWE frames Evolution in the first place. Evolution is branded like a novelty, not a norm. Let's look at the name Evolution itself. Evolution means like change. It means like, genetic things and like, you were a ball and now you're a banana. Oh my God, you evolved. They say that birds, evolved from dinosaurs. So what the hell are we evolving with evolution? Huh? To me, the name Evolution sounds temporary. It sounds transitional. And it sounds as if women still need a special showcase. Like I said in the beginning, I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to be honest when it comes to this whole entire thing. I have an idea. Why, instead of doing Evolution, why not just book the women prominently around the year? Why do we have to wait once every 7 years for bad things to fall off your credit report and for Evolution to show up so we can finally feature the woman? No one calls it an all-men's PLE. Nobody's saying, hey, let's look at, oh my God, WWE testosterone is coming. I can't wait till testosterone comes. That's the all-male, PLE, where you get to see the return of, Brock Lesnar and wait, maybe that's Saturday night's main event. Yeah, Saturday night's main event is the men's PLE this weekend. Golly. But either way, the name, whether it hurts or helps, I think the name is indifferent. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the name is. But I think it's good for spotlighting talent. I think it is bad though if it isolates women from the rest of the narrative. Not only am I a pro wrestling wrestler or pro wrestling podcaster where I talk about it, but I'm definitely a fan. 99% of all pro wrestlers, we all started out as fans. And if I wasn't a fan, I wouldn't be able to sit here and talk to you today. Listen, some fans, from their point of view, they want an all-women's main event. And they want an all-women's show. And some, they just want equality within every event. I never forget the emotions that ran through me when I heard that Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey were going to headline WrestleMania 35. To me, the emotions were positive. Why? Because I love my mama. Because I am the oldest son of a woman that had to do it. She had to fight. She had to struggle with 3 boys. Then she had a girl later on, so there's like 4 of us. But I just want equality in every single show. I want the women to get adequate enough time. I want the women to be featured. Yeah, we get women main events and stuff like that, but prominently still, it's the majority of the people on the show is men. We get segments that involve men mostly, and we get a little bit sprinkling with the women. The women are doing their thing. But then you get things like Saudi Arabia, to where the women still got to go to Saudi Arabia, but they got to dress up like the Power Rangers. Let me ask you this, whether you're watching live or on demand, should Evolution be a permanent PLE or should WWE stop needing it altogether? Let's see what number 1 crown JP Universal is saying about JP. He says, the simplest and easy way to promote Evolution 2 is by marketing the most popular and most talked about women wrestlers such as Stephanie McCare, Julia, Maria May, etc., 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 common sense. I think the thing with pro wrestling, very good comment, I think the thing though with the WWE is that there are no women in the WWE that are a big of a name. I'm not saying that their wrestling is not good. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the name value. We're talking about when their name is on a marquee, people go, oh. So I'm talking about people like John Cena. When you see John Cena, you go, oh, what is he doing? Roman Reigns, the Rock, Stone Cold. There's no names right now that are as big or ever as big in the women's division as the men's division. So I feel like what you're saying, Universal, to market the popular, most talked about women's wrestlers, such as Stephanie McCare, Julia, Maria May, and everybody else, to me, it makes sense. But from a marketing standpoint, I don't think it has any legs to stand on. Maybe in the diehard internet or the diehard wrestling community, the fans that can tell you about, like the diehard women's wrestlers that are not getting their fair shake right now, yeah. But I think that would be something that AEW does, because AEW focuses on the wrestling and WWE focuses on the entertainment aspect and then the wrestling. So it's all about drawing you in to be entertained. They entertain you with the storylines, but AEW, they entertain you with the actual wrestling. That's why I feel there's a disconnect between me and AEW. Universe also says, how many women in the Battle Royal? Did they say how many? Nope. I watched Raw last night. I didn't see it. But I tell you this, it's probably going to be more than 6 people. That's my bet if I had to bet $1. I think the Battle Royal was put together last minute, though, because, golly, I still can't tell them apart. One of the Bella twins, they're in it. And they were supposed to have a little thing with what's her name that got hurt? With, I know who I'm talking about. With the woman. Liv Morgan. Thank you, Brain, for kicking in last second. But that didn't come out because she got hurt or whatnot. So, yeah, it felt kind of thrown together. But he says, what do you think? How many women in the Battle Royal? Did they say how many? What do you think? They would have announced at least a few and teased others? Nope. They didn't do that. Terrible booking marketing. Yeah. Yeah, look, I feel like the women are not getting their fair shake in Evolution. And we are going to talk about that on Monday morning. I'm not sure of the time yet. I have it penciled in for noon, but it could be 9:30 as well, too, because, damn, man, the brother got to go to work. One day, there's going to be a day where I'm going to be able to do this 7 days a week. Just watch. Be here. Universe says, I have no problem with women's only PLE and pay-per-view. The problem with this is not doing it correctly or well. This has been promoted or marketed disastrously. Unfortunately, it will be a disaster. Well, I hope it won't be a disaster for our sake, because, we're spending our time with it. If it's a disaster, I know it's going to make great YouTube videos, but I don't want to make great YouTube videos off of something that's a disaster. I want to make great YouTube videos off of something that we like. So when we come back on Monday morning, I want to be able to say this is probably one of the best things that we ever seen. But I think the problem is that WWE had WrestleMania, and then they had Backlash, and after Backlash, they were just running into events, Saudi Arabia. I don't feel like WWE has had enough time to let anything breathe. The next month, we're having SummerSlam, and I'll be going to SummerSlam, and I can't wait to meet a lot of you. There'll be a lot of you that may have never watched this show, but you're going to come back and be like, hey, I met that guy at SummerSlam. And then you subscribe, and now you watch. And you might come back and watch this episode. So I'm going to SummerSlam. We're all going to be linking up, maybe take a picture or something. I don't know. Even if it's just 2 people, that's what we're doing. I don't care. Building a community here. But look. We're all about to tie this together, right? Is it progress or is it just good PR? WWE isn't pushing boundaries. If you ask me, they're catching up. The women's division needs consistent, not occasional investment. WWE's evolution, branding, it highlights inequality and it's trying to fix it. The women are not getting their fair shake in Saudi Arabia. We saw that, what was it, last weekend, the weekend before? The weekend before. Fans want week-to-week storytelling. We want title defenses. We want main event worthy booking. Yes, we're getting a woman in the main event. But where's our bloodline-esque storytelling? I'm not talking about having people that just come from the woodworks and stuff like that. No! That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is having storylines with the women that are deeper than the skeletons in your closet. That's what I'm talking about. But until then, I don't think evolution is a moment. I think that evolution is a mirror, and WWE is just catching up to what the world already values. I want to know from you, do you think that evolution is needed today, whether you're watching live or on demand? Go ahead and let me know. Is WWE going to just keep it going? Should they evolve past it? Tell me what you need. Tell me what you think. There's a newsletter. Tristan Law Show newsletter, official newsletter. You can find the link in the description. Subscribe to that. That's where you're going to get my thoughts. If you like me, and you like what I'm doing, and you want to know what my brain thinks about pro wrestling when the mic is off, subscribe to that newsletter. It's in the bio. It's in the description of this video. And you click it. You can hit subscribe. It's on Substack. Share it with somebody. What I'm doing there is that when the PLEs are coming out, like Saturday Night's Main Event and Evolution, you know what? I'm going to sit down and put together my thoughts and put out a newsletter so that you can get my thoughts. And I give you the opportunity to talk about it as well, too. Because this isn't one way. This is two way. We talk to each other here. I'll be back on Sunday to talk about Saturday Night's Main Event with my friend Cheyenne Ortiz. And I'll be back again on Monday to talk about WWE Evolution with my homegirl Felicia, the host of the Storyline Podcast. My name is Tristan Law. It's the Tristan Law Show. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe if you like what I did. This is the Tristan Law Show Universal. Hey, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for your participation. This is the Tristan Law Show, and I'll see you next time.